The case of Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was one of the most chilling and infamous serial killers in American history. Born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he seemed like an ordinary child growing up. However, behind his seemingly normal facade lurked a dark and twisted mind that would later be responsible for a series of gruesome murders. Dahmer's crimes began in the late 1970s and spanned over a decade. He targeted young men, primarily of African American and Asian descent, luring them to his home with promises of money or alcohol. Once inside, he would drug them and then carry out horrifying acts of violence, including rape, dismemberment, and necrophilia. His killing spree went undetected for years, partly due to his ability to blend in with society. He was seen as a shy, unassuming man, which allowed him to continue his heinous acts without arousing much suspicion. Dahmer's victims numbered at least 17, and his method of disposal was just as gruesome as his crimes. He would often dissolve their bodies in acid or perform other disturbing acts to eliminate any evidence. The authorities finally caught up with Dahmer on July 22, 1991. One of his intended victims managed to escape and flagged down 2 police officers. The officers arrived at Dahmer's apartment, only to be met with a horrific scene of dismembered remains and a sickening stench. Dahmer was promptly arrested, and as the extent of his crimes unraveled, the nation was left in shock. During his trial, Dahmer initially pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. However, his defense was met with skepticism. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence, including photographs of dismembered bodies and testimonies from surviving victims. Ultimately, Dahmer was found guilty on 15 counts of murder and sentenced to 16 life terms in prison without the possibility of parole. While behind bars, Dahmer had a brief encounter with the media when he granted an interview to Stone Phillips of NBC's Dateline. In the interview, he showed no remorse for his actions and provided chilling insights into his twisted motivations. However, his time in prison would be short-lived. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer was brutally murdered by a fellow inmate at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. His death marked the end of a chapter filled with unspeakable horror and left behind a legacy of shock and disbelief. The aftermath of Dahmer's crimes extended beyond his own demise. The case sparked widespread discussions about mental health, the justice system, and the need for improved law enforcement practices. It also raised questions about how such a prolific and sadistic killer could go undetected for so long. Today, Dahmer's name continues to be synonymous with pure evil. His crimes serve as a reminder of the darkness that can reside within seemingly ordinary individuals. While his victims will never be forgotten, society can only hope that the lessons learned from the Dahmer case will lead to a better understanding of the psychological factors that drive such horrifying acts and help prevent similar tragedies in the future. And that's the chilling story of Jeffrey Dahmer, a man whose name will forever be linked to some of the most gruesome crimes in American history. We hope you enjoyed this case overview, presented by the Emmy Award-winning Crimesonics. Be sure to give us a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content just like this.